Hello, welcome to the Extreme Gaming Podcast. This would be episode 326. I'm Trev as always. I am joined by Hans and Epstein. How you doing, Epstein?
Oh, jeez, here we go back.
Hey.
Come on. Pretty soon we keep doing
Okay,
that.
last time for me. It's normally Hans that does it. It's Great Gamer. It's not Epstein. He's not alive
I'll
anymore.
have people sending me emails.
He's just on the list, though. That's all.
Are you really on the list? I go, not that list.
He made the list. He is the list.
I'll have to
Release
tell
the
him
list and prove it. There you go.
I'll tell him my compadres are on the shit list, and they'll know. I'll go,
No, we're not on the list. We paid someone off. Really quickly, the Discord, if you want to come chew the fat about gaming, tech, hardware, that kind of stuff, discord.gg/extreme gaming podcast. And I believe in the next week or two, we'll be doing another episode 3 of Gray's Extreme Hollywood podcast, where we talk all things entertainment, movie, TV, show reviews, opinions, shenanigans in Hollywood. That's us. We talk about that stuff. So we'll look out for that soon.
Yeah.
This was Gray's one, I think, but we're all to discuss it.
Yeah,
Crimson Desert Deluxe, Denuvo, good or bad? I would love Hans to take the lead in this one because he knows what this is. I know what it is, but you know what it is better and why it sucks.
Right, okay, let's start with Denuvo, everyone will pronounce it first. I, as a PC gamer, don't like it. I view it as a necessary evil, because if I was a developer, I would probably get it too. At least I would have gotten it, but that's a topic we're covering a little bit later. So Denuvo is a multi-layered copy protection. That's the best I can explain it. So it hasn't really been cracked, but as of now, let's say it has been bypassed. So we'll get into that a little bit later.
Quick.
So no, yeah, it's not cracked, so it's a bit of a gray zone yet at the moment. So anyway, Denuvo itself, when it's cracked, there are certain games where they cracked it, and it really boosts your FPS, right? So Denuvo, it takes a lot of resources and it tanks your FPS in some games. I think it was in Black Myth Wukong that is now cracked. You got like some extreme case that was like 33 FPS more or something in certain areas.
Wow.
No, that's a lot.
But that's an extreme case, of course. But I mean, it really takes resources, micro stuttering, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, now the other thing, it has now been bypassed. So with a hypervisor crack, which I wouldn't use if I was you, but it's not safe. It's
there's a learning curve to it all. So
yeah, not really. I mean, I tried it. We tested it last week.
For you and us, it's not really, but other people will be like, "Wow."
Yeah, there's only 3 buttons to press, but yeah, the thing is not the fact that you can do it. The fact is, if you do it, it's a kernel. It goes into your kernel level. That deep goes the hypervisor bypass, right? So what happens is once you reboot with the hypervisor on, so to speak, let's just put it easy, then you got no protection whatsoever, right? They can slip backdoors in there, whatever you want. You're completely unprotected for everything. So don't go to any naughty sites, Gray, if you ever do that. Just saying. So you're probably the number one to get it there.
So, you know how many games actually have the Denuvo on it? I don't think it's that many, right? I know Black Myth Wukong has it.
No, it's a lot. It's over.
Is it really?
Yeah, hundreds of hundreds.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I know the developers, they pay a monthly fee, I think, or a yearly fee, one of those two, to Denuvo to keep it updated. But we were talking before the show, me and Gray, and if you are Denuvo, right, or you're a developer, whatever, what do you say to your customers right now? Because your anti, it hasn't been cracked, but it is bypassed. So what do you say now to your customers at the moment?
Here's 2 questions back at you guys then. If you're Denuvo, what the 2 questions I have for you are, what are they doing to improve this bypassing that seems to happen quite a lot, and what are they doing to reduce or remove the latency, because that's a real problem here that people are pissed off at?
Well, to answer question number 1, I don't think there's anything they can do about the bypass, because again, it's a kernel level bypass. So if they want to bypass that, they would need to make Denuvo that it also goes into the kernel level of your system. That
they'd have to involve Windows on it or Microsoft, which you're not
even
gonna do.
that's almost an impossible task and a pretty dangerous one at that when it comes to security reasons. Now the second one, they claim there's no problem with their software, so they just deny it, say it's not our fault.
Right.
But yeah, there you go. It's like
Okay. For those that don't know, if they've not clicked already, it's an anti-cheat piece of software, which is I'm not a fan of. There's many of them out there. It's not the most popular one, but it is one that is widely used. It's only ever on PC because you pretty much can't really crack the console games. Not been open sourced. Yeah. So I think it's a good idea, anti-cheat, if it can be implemented properly without latency. And the problem you've got there is, I remember the Steam Deck, some games you couldn't play in that because anti-cheat or easy cheat or whatever it's called was not compatible with Linux, and no one would bring out a version of it. Like the people that make the software would not bring out a Linux version, which pissed me off because I couldn't play Destiny 2 on, say, a Steam Deck.
Yeah, there's
that
a
really
lot
annoyed
of
me.
competitive multiplayer you can't play on Linux. With the easy anti-cheat or something, or what's it called?
Anti-cheat, yeah, or easy cheat or something.
Yeah.
So it's pretty annoying, but you know.
I'm sorry, I just saw Gray's name change. I'm sorry.
Took you long enough, man.
Yeah.
I was really looking at it like.
What's
Gray's opinion on an anti-cheat? Is he not bothered? Do you want rid of that?
I understand. I can understand why they want it, but the thing is, if you're going to create an anti-cheat that's going to knock down your FPS so much, as well as other things I hear people complain about too, then you got to work on it, because people are gonna want to crack it as much as possible if they're not getting what they want. So
it is apparently really hard to crack. So
right, but bypass, whatever you want to call it. But the point is that
that's different, but apparently
right.
The crack is like a one click solution, so to speak.
Right.
The bypass is like, it's a bypass.
Well, what I mean by that is they don't want you to bypass or crack it. But the point is that if you're going to give me an anti-cheat that doesn't do anything and doesn't affect my FPS or anything, then fine, I don't care, as long as it doesn't mess with it.
Yeah, but if you were a developer, would you use it? I would. I gotta be honest. I would use it.
Yeah, I know. I don't blame them for using it, but I would be concerned about talking to them about, look, I know it works, I know it's good, but we have so many people complaining about the FPS hit. I mean, can't you guys do something here? I mean, I would think they could. I mean, or they're working on it. I guess they're just not working on it fast enough. I don't know. Some developers don't care. They feel that they sell enough copies if the game is good that whatever happens out there is not a terrible thing. Everybody has a different viewpoint.
It depends what game it is as well. If it's an online game or not, multiplayer, or it's a single player game. If it's a single player game, you might not really notice the latency, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem. But
it's more with single player game. It's more the micro stutters and all kind of stuff that actually. It sometimes takes a ridiculous amount out of your FPS for no reason, because why? I mean, but they deny it. That's the problem, right? Denuvo downright denies there's a problem with their software. So then start blaming the developers or your PC. It's common, but
of course, NVIDIA does that all the time, and other people. They're always blaming us. Oh, you did something wrong.
Apparently, you also blamed other people, but no, that's a different conversation. Sorry.
Right.
I mean, the blame game has gotten so bad now that everybody blames for everything else. I mean, look at it's like Todd, what's his name at Bethesda? Well, I probably aren't doing this or that right. And I'm like, huh?
Every time I hear Todd Howard's name, I think of the Sweet Little Lies song that is now so ingrained in my memory.
There's a dim bulb going on upstairs. And then you have that other guy that we talked about last week. I forgot his name. What was the Fortnite guy that everybody loves? He's
the worst CEO in gaming history. Okay, yeah.
His quotes are just great.
Sweeney.
He just comes out and says some of the stupidest things. It's like, okay.
Todd Sweeney.
No, Tim Sweeney.
Todd Sweeney's someone else, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
there's Sydney
character.
Sweeney too, but that's another story. Yeah.
Right.
I don't know if
So
she plays games, but if she wants to play a game with me, I'll do it. That's fine.
so
And that's
if
why you
we-
can't do this bypass. Great. Okay. Don't do it. Right.
Oh, don't do it.
There's too many
well,
websites
our
open for you.
favourite
So.
person online of the fit variety, is that a bypass job? It must be if it's available there.
That particular person uses it for every game now that has the Denuvo on it. So does all the rest of the groups.
Okay. Okay.
So I think I sent it to Gray like a week ago. I think there's only like 15 games now that aren't bypassed with the Denuvo. It's around that number. All the rest is
Wow.
completely bypassed. So that's why I asked the question: what do you do if you're the Denuvo at the moment? So indeed, your product hasn't been cracked, but it is completely bypassed. So what do you do now at this moment?
come out with Denuvo 2, even worse than the first one.
Yeah, but you can't. Again, that's a problem. You can't go kernel level. That's impossible. I mean, think about. Yeah, no, it's weird.
Denuvo,
It's a weird
Okay.
one.
Denuvo 2. Do you want to bork your 5090? Just load that in.
Oh, there's games that cripple a 1590. Don't worry. Try Alan Wake 2. No,
So it's a necessary evil that we have to really have. I would just wish they would improve it a little bit in terms of like
Man.
stuttering and whatnot. That's all in
Yeah.
latency, but yeah. Anywho, I do have some other things to discuss. But before I do that, Gray has got a quick one, and I quote, Crimson Desert.
Yeah, I want to say a couple of things. One thing that people have been happy about with the game is that they have been listening to players, which has gotten to be rare with other AAA companies these days. And they've been putting in a lot of updates. I mean, constantly. They listen to the players, they go in, they update. So there's been a couple more updates for people to play the game. One of the biggest complaints has been private storage, which was only 240 slots, and now they've moved it up to 1,000. As they said, it depends on your Gray Man camp expansion. So as you expand the camps, you get more and more slots. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Have you played the game now?
No, I have the game now. I was able to get it for half price, which was
You told me. But
reasonable,
have you
very
played it yet?
reasonable.
So,
They said also headgear, which we've seen before, the headgear visibility toggle. You can put your headgear on or show yourself with your headgear off. But what I thought was kind of funny specifically, they went one step further and they gave you 4 options. You can always show the headgear. You can show it in combat only. You can hide it in cutscenes, or you can always hide it. And that might not seem like much, but in a way it kind of is, because there's been times where I said hide the headgear, and then as soon as it goes into a cutscene, the headgear is still there.
yeah, but
And I'm like,
that's a problem with a lot of games. To be fair,
yeah.
I've seen it
So
in
they
more
gave
games,
you
yeah.
they gave a thing. You don't have to. If you want, it won't have it in the cutscenes either.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I
kind of
agree, I
cool. It's a
agree.
little thing, but it's cool.
Another thing about cutscenes, you don't have because you don't have an ultra-wide monitor, right? So the game is completely fine in ultra-wide. Then cutscene, boom, 69.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
yeah,
interesting.
that happens a lot too. Yeah.
Does it move over to the right or left? Does it put it right in the center?
Always center. Yeah, always center.
Yeah. Okay. I was curious. They
would
said
be
there's a bunch
really
of other
horrible.
small little tweaks here and there. There's a new armor set and a helmet for cats.
What have you read the story about the cats? What players are doing?
No, I haven't.
So what they're doing is they're gathering an whole army of thousands and thousands of cats, and they put them in armor. So
Great. Do they stay the same size as real cats?
I don't know. I'm like only 7 hours into the game, so I'm still in the beginning area. I'm not gonna try that. Just saying.
There was a game that I'm trying to remember the game that's out right now. Oh God, anyway. There's a game where everybody same kind of thing like you. There's 6 or 7 people that line up, and all they're wearing is a towel. And they all get together and run through a game like that, and then it's some kind of like thing.
Isn't that a game for Matt? No.
I forgot the name of it. But they said it's happening in more than one game. It's like a thing now. Like get your friends together
or something. I don't know.
Wear a towel and run around wherever. Like, okay.
You should play this game just purely for the cat armor. I mean, that's...
Have you played the game yet, Trev?
No, I won't be anytime soon. I've got so many other things. I haven't been able to play a game much in many days. I'm just way too busy.
I've been busy too, and I'm busy on good stuff, things I like and whatnot. Lately, I just you look at this thing. You guys are gonna crack up. Do you know what this is? For
Rubik's
our
Cube?
people that are on audio, you can't see this thing, but it's a little box, and it's a company called Nido, and this is Nido Gumdrop. Basically, it's kind of like weird squishy toys, right? You squish. Don't ask me why, but these things are flying off the shelf. And my daughter was able to get 18. No, she was able to get 28 packs of these things, and they're selling on eBay for 4 times what she bought it for.
Is that where your money
She's
goes?
going, she's going, Dad, can you sell these for me? And I go like, sure.
Okay.
So I don't. They're goofy, squishy things, man. This one looks like a gumdrop, and you just take it out and squish it in your hands. Every one of them has a different texture to it, or a different firmness to it, or a different whatever things inside it and stuff. I mean, I don't know. All I know is that the fads are funny, man. It's just, and then the company said they weren't expecting this, so now they said they can't fill orders until like June or July. I'm going like, good, because I mean the price will go up even more. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I finally sold my 4070.
Oh.
I got
you got a nice profit. You got a nice tidy profit for it.
Yeah, I mean, I there was fees involved, but I mean, after I sold it for $450, and after the fees, it was about $4, and stuff. So I did fine. So the main thing I did was I covered the $300 legendary 007 Daylight Legendary Edition. So now I'm good, and I'm $100 ahead, which is cool.
See, that's an interesting way of looking at it, Gray, because when I sold my old card, I looked at that as a discount off of my new card.
Yeah.
It's funny how you're approaching it from a different angle.
Yeah, I do the same thing. It's
I mean, it is in a way, because you didn't have the money. The money was already wrapped up in something that you bought. So you're not affecting your budget. You're not hurting anything. So you just take the money, turn it around, and repurpose it. Why not? I mean, I'm going to get more enjoyment out of the game and all the goodies.
True.
Stuff.
True.
Did you see my picture I posted in Discord? I got my new Godzilla. I got Snorlax, a Pokemon that I like, and I also got Ghidorah, the 3-headed monster.
Why is someone in their late 60s into Pokemon? I'm a bit concerned.
He's almost 70. If I was just saying.
I don't know Pokemon as well as my son, but I happen to like 1 or 2 of them, and I really like Snorlax because all he does is he sleeps, and then when you wake him up, he's really powerful and can beat the crap out of you, and then he goes back to sleep. So
I saw the pictures, Gray. I saw the pictures.
I could use sleep.
I just thought that was cool. I thought, I was like, okay, I like this guy. So my son surprised me and said, look, I got a Snorlax for you. Like, yeah.
Brought them back from Japan. That's where I want to go next year, actually.
Well, the 2 monsters that I got, you can't get those over here. They seem to only be in Japan. So I'm like, cool. So I'm happy.
Quite right. Okay, any more Crimson Desert stuff?
If you're into interactive maps, which I am, depending on the situation, there's multiple, because the map of Crimson Desert is so big, there's multiple interactive maps, and you can find them on GamerRant, .com, and just go to /map Crimson Desert. You'll see it.
Wouldn't that take away a bit of the exploration in the game? In this particular game?
Well, it depends on how you used it. So in other words, like I think there's 4 of them for each of the areas or something, if I remember correctly. Anyway, the point is that it depends on how you want to use it. Do you want to sort of cheat and look at the interactive map to see where things are, or do you want to explore, find things, and then after you think you found it all, then you go to the interactive map and see if you missed anything?
That's what I probably would do more, because this game apparently is based on exploration. So I think the interactive map would take some of that away, probably. So
these interactive maps, I got to give them credit. They reveal like everything.
It is a cool feat to do, right?
But the nice thing about it, though, is you can hide all, or only pick 1, or only pick 2. So sometimes I'll pick like only the fast travel points, because I want to know where they are so I can establish them. So I'll just leave that on and nothing else, and I'll just run around and find it eventually. But if you don't want to do that and you want to find everything, fine. If you only want to find, I don't know, certain kind of house or element or city, just turn the cities on and turn everything else off. So that's why it's nice to have interactive. So you can get those if you look on GamerRant, and I'm sure they're available in plenty of other places. So it'll help your exploration or whatever.
Cool.
And that was that on that part of it.
Good man. Thank you, Mr. Gray. Gray did send me an article to share, but I've forgotten where it was. But it did remind me of something else, so I need to thank him, really, actually. I remember seeing this the other day, and I wasn't sure whether to post it or not, but I will, because it's a significant saving, and you're best doing this before an inevitable price rise comes. At the moment, I believe a Nintendo Switch 2 console costs you £500 in the UK, at least. At the moment, quite a few companies, certainly in the UK at the moment, are selling it for a vastly reduced amount. Instead of £500, they're selling it for £385. So that's quite a saving, and the prices will more likely go up because everything's gone up, as we know. So if you've been thinking about getting one, get in there quick. I saw it on Amazon. It's available in a couple other places as well, but Amazon is the main place I buy these things from, I guess. So yeah, that's really quickly off the bat, get out of the way. The other things that I'm going to go back to front actually with this news, because I want to talk to you guys about this Lillian hardware and all that. We're getting some price leaks for the 9950 X3D.
Oof, yeah.
And it's possibly a mistake or just a holding, starting kind of price tag, but we're seeing it appear in retail stores at nearly $1,000. It's possible because it'll be priced higher than the 9950 X3D, which is still going to be in production from what I gather. This was PCCanada.com, and it had it down for 1,374 Canadian dollars, which is 984 US dollars. So I don't think it'll be as much as that. I think that's a placeholder. I think it's going to be more expensive than the 9950 X3D, and I think, well, that's about 700 last I checked. You'll probably get it cheaper. I would imagine, if it's about $700-800, I wouldn't be surprised. Gray, when you buy one, so you could be like top dog?
Well, you won't be top dog for gaming or top dog for something else?
I'm already top dog. What are you talking about?
No, you've only got a motherboard that you can't properly utilize. That's it. If anything, I've got the fastest gaming chip and the fastest graphics card going. My
chip is like a skosh below the fastest gaming chip, which are all AMD, so I'm not too disappointed. And actually,
point of contention, not true. But okay, go on.
And technically, since I have Project Lasso and I'm parking cores and everything, I'm supposed to be even better now. So okay.
Which it shouldn't be. No, done. Nope, not going in there again.
I only have one thing to say to Hans again. I'm going Star Wars. No, only kidding.
Oh, yeah.
No, you nasty man. Well,
we're still doing that rant on the next podcast.
No,
I know.
That's the other podcast. No.
That's what I just said on the other podcast.
He said other podcast. He was being good.
Okay. Oh, we'll have that rant. Don't worry about that for sure. I want to hear it all from. I don't want Hans to hold back. This new Ryzen 9 9950 X3D 2 chip will be coming out in April 22nd, so they better get their backsides moving with pricing. Also, I saw a UK price for it, £905, so that's probably like what, 800 something dollars. I think it'll probably. I think that's a placeholder, man. I'll be honest with you. I really can't see that being the case. But between £700 and £800, I reckon. But if you're wanting the best of the best, you go for that. It is only 5 to 10% faster than its predecessor. So you need to decide that it's not worth upgrading from Gray's chip to this.
And also, do not buy this for gaming
less. It might be. And here's a question more for Hans. How's that going to work for gaming if if there are two CCDs with the V cache on them? Which CCD is going to be used for gaming? Like, no one knows that yet, do they?
No, probably not. But it's going to suck for gaming again. I'm sorry. You're going to have to do the exact same thing as Gray doing now. It's not a gaming chip. It's not a gaming chip. You can use it for gaming, but you're leaving a lot on the table. So.
And years ago, we used to put a chip in our computer, and we never called it a gaming chip. We would just play.
Now those days are sadly long gone. So
Yes, that's true.
that's really I miss those days. That's yeah.
I want to
too.
see them make a chip that they put in your computer. They say, "Is it a gaming chip? No. Does it do everything else? No. So what does it do? Nothing."
Yeah.
It's just
Basically, that's
it
what
just
we are
sits there
right
and
now with
looks
some
good.
chips. So I mean, yeah. Sadly, sad state of affairs. I mean, and it's not
Yep.
just AMD, by the way. Intel has their flaws too. So
Of course,
they're not innocent in this one.
Well, none of us will be getting that chip, safe to say. It's not for
No.
us. It's for a particular kind of person. I would
Don't-
say that. Yeah,
Don't worry,
don't-
Nvidia's got their chip coming, so they'll be competing.
They do, and that is. Are you still going to get that, Hans? Are you waiting for reviews?
I'm waiting for the reviews before I do the new Intel one. I really want to get off this system, but the problem is the goddamn RAM prices.
Yeah.
Intel likes fast RAM.
Are they not stabilizing and coming down a little bit now?
They're coming down
That's what I
slightly,
read.
Yeah, they're coming down, but they're still ridiculously overpriced at the moment. So
That's why I put mine up finally. I decided I better not wait, so I put it up.
So
But we'll see. It hasn't.
the
gotten any bids
290K,
yet.
I have a lot of interest in the 290K. I think it is that's
Yep.
coming out. The thing is, it's a whole platform upgrade. I need a new motherboard, need new RAM. So yeah, that's gonna set me back a lot. So then it's gonna be the question of, is it gonna be worth it? Yes or no? So I need
So you
reviews
still
before
game? Are you still gaming your laptop?
90%. Yeah.
Wow, Jesus.
So I have a serious problem with this 9800 X3D. I can't do it. So it's horrible.
Yeah, I remember you
Sorry.
saying, man.
So,
Brutal.
yeah.
Right, okay, we'll move on from there. I don't know if I mentioned, I think I mentioned this possibly to Gray on the phone already, but this blows my mind. GTA 6 developer, which is Rockstar North, has spent nearly $3 billion on staff costs alone since 2019. Now, that's just Rockstar North, which is either just the branches in the UK or just the one in Edinburgh. $3 billion on staff costs in the last 6 to 7 years. That's mental.
This is what's wrong with modern gaming. I mean,
sorry.
sorry.
But great. What game did you put down saying, was it, no, it was me, was it you that put in The Witcher 4's $800
That was
million
me. Yeah, it
so
was
far?
me.
Yeah.
Was that you?
Crazy. Yeah, it was me.
How's The Witcher 4? You can't compare The Witcher to GTA, I'm sorry, as good as The Witcher
No.
is.
But
I don't
mean,
know.
I think all those budgets are insane. This is just, we're just waiting for a crash at some point. This can't keep going on. I mean,
Waiting, it's already happening.
I mean, how much is a game gonna cost in a year or two with those budgets? Right?
All I know is when you hear about budgets like for what was the budget on Expedition 33? Like 30 million, 40 million?
Yeah,
30
they sold for 50
million or 30 million, something like that.
$49.99 they sold it for. They made a profit in the first 24 hours.
Yep.
So, I mean,
Wow,
imagine
man.
GTA 6. By the way, GTA 6 is going to make a profit. So, I mean, that's not what I mean.
Oh, yeah, despite that.
I'm not, you know what, I'm not saying
just
GTA
saying that the amount of money they need to recoup on some of these games.
Well, the thing is, right, this is $3
get
billion in staff costs alone. It's not to say that was on GTA 6 exclusively. It wouldn't have been, but still mental all the same. The developers are on this kind of money really in the first place. But I'm just thinking, when they start marketing this game, which will be in the summer, they've said that one, Rockstar North have said we're going to start, or Take-Two, they're going to start it in the summer. That'll be $1 billion or $2 billion for marketing across the world. Full stop. So this game is easily going to be a $5 to $7 billion game. Easy, all in. And they'll still make a massive profit in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't blame them for doing that. I mean, but I think these budgets are insane.
But that's a joke. I mean, GTA 6, I understand it being expensive, but not that expensive. And if you can sit there and go like, well, they'll still make a lot of money. Yeah, they could have made a hell of a lot more if they controlled the budget.
I'm just saying, are you going to be surprised if the game turns out to be 100 or 120 euros? Or dollar?
I can't see why it would be. I generally don't think it'll be more than the standard price.
Would you be surprised is my question. So
I wouldn't be surprised, no. But I generally don't think it'll happen, Hans. And purely the reason
I think it's going to be. I think it's still going to be a 90 or 100.
What they'll do is, I've said this before, they'll bring out special editions and deluxe editions at higher prices, and people will buy them, mate, because especially if you put a little model in there or something.
It's going to be It's probably going to be the fastest selling game of all time, right?
If it's true, I already read an article where they're going to charge the normal price for the standard edition, but they didn't say one word about any other edition after that. So it might be the same cost for the stripped down version, and then they're going to give you all the goodies on the next ones, which
the thing is,
a lot of people will buy.
Okay, it's not on PC, but I don't play the online version of those games, right? So probably what they're going to do is put some what you call it, shark cards or something.
We just need some good. We need some brains out there to make an emulator for PC, for a console. So that way,
PS4 is now being emulated. PS5 is on the way, but it's in very, very early stages.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
There's a few homebrew things that I think run now on the PS5 emulator.
Homebrew.
Yeah, it's called homebrew. So
you imagine somebody in their back room with all the tools and soldering irons and everything. I think I got this going. A little smoke rising from it and everything.
I think, was it the source code leaked online on PlayStation 5, I think? A few weeks
I think so. I think it was something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
scary. Mental.
Yeah.
Well, I reading this article a little bit more about the cost and blows my mind. I'm not surprised, but it does blow my mind. The reason this was found out was it was available on the UK government's website because you have to, as a public company, you have to disclose these things, don't you? So it's broken down into wages and salaries, social security, which is basically income tax in the UK, pension costs, and share-based payments. And it was a total of, they rounded it up to 3 billion. They shouldn't have, because it's 2.7 billion to be fair, but still mental. And then you look at, how the hell can CD Projekt Red afford 800 million and counting? I mean, they're a lot of money, but they can't. How can they afford that?
Yeah, no, they have plenty of money. If you go over the sales of the first 3 Witcher, and
they're
now
one of the
Cyberpunk,
richest developers also. So
and the DLCs, they have
crazy.
And they have their own launcher as well.
That
right,
I think also plays a part of it.
But they got the money.
Anyway,
I mean, the only thing I can think of, maybe it's possible that maybe they spent the 800 million because they know, well, they already know there's going to be another trilogy. So it's quite possible by the time you get to the second and third game, the cost is going to be far less because you're spending all your stuff on the front end that you have to create the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if the budget for the next 2 after this one will be much smaller. And that can, in the long run, that'll balance out.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm buying it anyway, so
yeah.
Anyway, that's I had to share that one because that kind of blew my mind a little bit, to be honest. And I had a proper chuckle at that one. The last couple of things I've got, and I'm going to do them slightly different order. I'm not surprised by this one. This could be very interesting. I want your boys' opinion on it. Disney, the House of Mouse, may be interested in acquiring Epic Games at some point. Disney previously invested $1.5 billion in the Fortnite and Unreal Engine company, and they have contributed towards the Unreal Engine technology. It's woven, they've got deals going with Epic going way back, theme park rides and everything as well. Putting their content into their games and whatnot.
Star Wars collab they did too with Fortnite, I guess.
Yeah, that's a massive one.
Somehow the Emperor Returned was first in Fortnite, by the way.
Somehow the Emperor again. Anything to make a buck, man. Anything to make a buck.
They're going to go Star Wars and Fortnite. It's now canon. Oh no,
it is.
No, canon.
No, not here.
So, okay. Well, it's a game. Yeah. You can rent if you want. It's a game.
They made Disney actually already invested $1.5 billion to an equity stake in Epic Games back in February 2024. So they have already got a foot in the door, and it makes sense for them to have like their own game platform studio because the bit of IP they've got for games, they always just sell. They just sell them to other companies to make them. If they brought them in house with their own owned platform, it would be a no-brainer for them. So found that pretty interesting. They might get a better deal on them because they're sacking more than 1,000 employees, so that could be a thing.
Can't you just see the Disney launcher for the games when they buy Epic? It'll have Mickey. You just kind of click and he goes, "Ha, okay." And the game
any excuse for you to make that noise.
I don't use it, so I don't care for it. But you can kiss your free games goodbye. So
I'm gonna play.
Yes. Exactly, man. And do I know something? I know you don't like them, Hans, like you don't want other launchers, but for free games, and some of them are actually pretty decent, I'm not complaining.
Yeah,
but
I still think it's funny that when Epic has a free game, the Steam sales of the said game rise. It's so funny. That's people rather pay it on Steam than get it free.
Is your mic? Are you still using your main mic, Hans, or is it coming through your headset again?
No,
he's moving it away from his mouth
because he is a lot lower than you. And last time it was his webcam mic or something that was on.
No, it was headset.
Right. The last thing I've got on the agenda is future console rumors, specs, how to actually try and appease people and sell them consoles in the future when things cost so much and there's really lack of innovation and progress and raster improvements these days. It's kind of difficult. One way, and this will be cheaping out a little bit, one way they're going to possibly get the PS6 down to an affordable price, I'm doing air brackets here, audio folks, is to go with just a 1 terabyte SSD with no disk drive. And their compensation for that is, or their comeback is, game size could be reduced with neural texture compression. I'm like,
so
really?
AI.
Yeah, probably. The 1 terabyte, that would save a bit of money. The no disk drive with the standard edition, well, there is an edition, a digital edition, that doesn't come with a disk drive. I mean, no, that's optional. I'm
Does
not surprised.
The PS5 Pro have a disc? No.
It doesn't come with one by default. You have to buy it, but it does come with a 2 terabyte, a 2 terabyte SSD.
But there is no version with a disc. I mean, just a normal PlayStation.
No, you have to buy the disc separately. You have to buy the disc drive. Yeah.
So they're going to do the same with the PS6 probably then.
Yeah, but I mean, cutting the SSD in half is a bit tight. Now, don't get me wrong. Like when companies bring out their consoles to begin with, they are always making a bit of a loss at the start. It's kind of par for the course. They want to try and sell accessories and games. They take a hit for a little while, and then they change the price, or they make a profit after a while of selling the console. So they're trying to find a way of not taking a massive hit and also still making it appealing to people, but chopping things where they can do, which is a shame. But, here's the thing. There's still quite a lot of people on PS4. They're struggling to get more of their PS4 users over to PS5, so they're having to try something different to try and get people into the next gen, either next year or the year after.
On the next one.
It's a hard one. It's a hard one to price, Gray, because it's nearly £800 for a PS5 Pro. So how do you price a PS6 competitively so that it's cheaper in cost but more powerful? I don't fancy that job. That gives me a sore head.
This is going to be the most expensive console generation ever. We all know that, right? I think if you're all lucky, it's going to be $800. I think that's going to be the bare minimum. And I think that's a lucky one. But to be fair, I think we are reaching the age of the $1,000 console. So like $999 or something.
But see if you add on like a bigger hard drive, and say that's a SKU that you can get, and you include the disk drive, it probably would be that anyway. So
yeah, it is. I mean, over here the PlayStation 5 Pro, it's €900. That's without disk drive.
Jesus Christ.
So the disk drive is 120, I think. There you go. You're over 1,000 already. So
you buy the disk drive. Yep. Like you say.
You guys know more about PS5 than I do, but why is there that many discs that you would have to have a disc drive?
There's a lot of people love physical media.
Yeah, I was just going to say, console players mostly like their physical media.
Yeah, because
even if it's a placebo, like the Switch 2, which is more of a placebo, but it still at least feels like physical, right?
A lot of people collect this shit. A lot of people, like me, I like to play a game and then complete it and then sell it on and get some of my money back. And I've played it for cheaper than that's the game. I don't like keeping I very rarely play a game a second time,
Yeah, but
so I
that
won't
is
keep it around.
what those companies want gone. Huh? They want to stop you from selling the game.
They will, and that's
Because
why
it's a
I
loss
think,
for them.
and that's why I think PS6 and then the Xbox, the new Xbox generation will be the last generation where you can optionally buy a disc
Yeah.
drive,
I agree,
which is a shame because it doubles as my Blu-ray player. Although saying that, the PS6 doesn't do Dolby Atmos, which no, it does Dolby Atmos. It doesn't do Dolby Vision, which pisses me off.
Doesn't do Dolby Vision. Yeah, I know.
But it is a 4K Blu-ray player, so yeah. So yeah, interesting. It's a matter of time before AI came out to try and compress things without it looking shit.
Now, to
I'm
be
surprised
fair,
it hasn't been done.
I wouldn't be against the technology, right? If it actually helps saving, space and even memory, I mean, by all means, do it.
They're saying that a standard 150 gig game at the moment with this technology could get it down to 21 to 22 gig.
Perfect.
That is a massive saving.
Sign me up if it works, right?
Yeah.
If it works, I'm all for it. So,
and this is what an AI created compression.
It'll be like the new NVIDIA or AMD equivalent, I guess, like super duper compression.
PC will have the same
4.0.
thing, just another name.
Yeah. So
it's coming anyway. So
found that interesting. The sub story to this one. I'm not really into these things. I don't think any of you guys are, but I know some people will be, especially people that commute a lot. And that's the PS6 handheld that they're working on as well, will reportedly beat the Xbox Series S in both raster and ray tracing. PSSR 3, which will probably be in the PS6 to be fair, will outperform NVIDIA DLSS 4.5. Your thoughts, gentlemen? That is some bloody silicon if it can do what it says it can.
That is some bold claim that I want to see first. Sorry. So, I mean,
about a super duper AMD AI chip that probably can do it. To be fair, man.
It would be pisserless. Yeah, just throw that in there. PSSR, pisser, and DLSS, pisserless.
It's
all right. Moving on, folks, to the next one.
There's a tumbleweed. We'll put tumbleweed sound effect in. Yeah,
crickets.
They're saying the new rumored tech that could be in the rumored. Like, take it with pinch of salt, please. People don't say Trevor said such and such. I don't have these insights. I wish they did.
We're not leakers.
The PS6 handheld, 4 Zen 6C cores, 2 Zen 6 LP cores, 16 RDNA 5 CUs, 192-bit LPDDR5X, RAM 24 gig probably, and it'll be a 3nm TSMC chip. I reckon those stats are true. I genuinely think they are, because along with AI and the custom silicon that AMD make, I reckon that's very achievable. If you look at the Panther Lake chips that are now in handhelds and laptops, those things are the absolute bollocks. Those are some fine SoCs. And if I was into mobile or laptop gaming, I would want a Panther Lake chip because it's absolutely spectacular. DLSS 4.5 probably will get beat by PSSR 3 because it'll be on the PS6. They're not bringing it out in the PS5. Mark Cerny said we've got more to come for PSSR and Project Amethyst, but nothing will get released this year. Meaning, it'll come next year, the end of 2027, with the PS6. And while that sucks for people who've got a PS5 Pro, they need to put things in place to make you buy the new tech. Otherwise, people won't bother.
Yeah, so, NVIDIA's going to do the same thing to us with the 60 series. So there's going to be something on there.
It's the Xbox Series S is a lovely little console for what it does, but it's not very powerful. So, like, if you think of how many years have been between that and when a PS6 handheld come out, it probably will.
I don't think that is a viable piece of technology anymore at the moment, especially for newer games.
I think Sony have seen what they're doing with the Windows gaming handhelds and the Steam Deck, and have went, we want a piece of that.
That's a different beast, right? I mean, that's a different market altogether. So
I
love those handhelds, but
if you remember back in the day, the the PSP and the PS Vita. I never had them because I don't play games on the go, but I remember having a shot of my friends' consoles, and they were really good for what they were at the time, man. And I was sad when Sony stopped. They went out of the handheld market because they were great.
Yeah.
But the thing was, it was a different ecosystem. So if you were a developer, you had to bring out a game for both platforms. Whereas here, it will be scalable between the two, so it'll be a lot easier to develop for. And there was a mock-up picture of one in here. It just looks like a bloody Windows. It's literally just like a Windows machine, like handheld machine with PlayStation 6 in the front. So, and then obviously they might also bring out what is it called? Is it Smart Play or something, Hans, where Xbox and PC users can play it between both platforms if they buy a game?
I don't know the name of it, but I know
Smart
it's
delivery.
compatible. It's smart
delivery.
Yeah,
So PlayStation might do the same. Now, can you imagine if they brought out, say you bought Spider-Man 3, right, for argument's sake, because that's not been announced, but it probably would be for a PS6, and you paid $70, $80 or pounds, right, euros, and you could play it on the PS6 handheld and PC under the Sony launcher. That would be pretty good.
That is
But
what
that's a
Steam is
big
trying to
if.
do now. Yeah, that's a big if. That's what
Yeah.
Steam trying to do now with their console. So
Yeah. We still don't know anything about that one as well, by the way.
no, but I'm saying that is literally what they want to do. So, and I'm pro those things. Pro consumer, I'm all for. So.
Yeah, and I think that's probably what's going to happen, because we know they're pulling away from the PC market. So they won't admit it because they don't want to lose sales or lose shares. They want to lose.
I read something about
market.
that yesterday or the day before. So apparently, Sony made 300 million in revenue on the PC between 21 and 24, I think it was, and then it just tanked off a cliff. So it coincided with the fact when they start trying to push their own launcher, like the PSN requirement login, which no PC player wanted to do.
Yeah.
So that's when it started tanking, and they didn't make any money after that one.
Hans, do you see our friend Mr. Gray almost falling asleep?
I'm fine.
I was watching him. I was watching his eyes. They literally closed.
I don't see Gray. I see Wang Hung Lo.
And Gray Gamer, how dare you use the S word?
Wait, didn't you look at yours?
No, now I have. Soccer. You never use the S word in front of me, sir.
Soccer doesn't exist.
Soccer doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. It's a football. If you kick it with your foot. Anyway.
Yeah. You can't see these people out there that are listening to audio.
No, we were having a bit of banter between
each other all the time.
Yeah. Right. Grey Gamer, you're up with some game news next, please.
Yes. I did some research for this, and I'm building this. Thanks. I'm building this research around a statement, so to speak, and that is some of the best games in recent years weren't made by giant studios at all. They were made by the people who escaped them.
100%
and a lot of
agree.
times I'm sorry?
I 100% agree.
Right. And we've been talking about it off and on, but we don't really point out, who went where and or why or how many people left this one. So I kind of did a little bit of research to try to find out maybe a little bit more behind it, which was, and I found some things that were kind of interesting. So basically, the main example that we've heard of before is Sandfall Interactive, which created Clair Obscur Expedition 33. That studio came out by former Ubisoft talent. In fact, the leadership and some of the founders, or not the family, but the founders left Ubisoft to come over to start Sandfall Interactive. So right there, you're losing very important people that decided that the AAA thing was going to go down the tube soon, and left when the leaving was good, I guess. And they came out and they made a small studio and they created a game for about $30-40 million, and boom, game of the year, and the rest is history. So that's the biggest story that we hear about, but we don't hear about some of the smaller ones. There's a group called Second Dinner. I like that name. The studio was formed by former Blizzard and Hearthstone leaders Ben Brody, and it turned out that talent into Marvel Snap, which won major awards and became one of the most visible success stories in digital card games. Second Dinner describes itself as an award-winning indie studio, and Marvel's own coverage highlighted Marvel Snap winning the best mobile game at the Game Awards. So there you go. They leave Bethesda, Blizzard, and Hearthstone, and boom, they get awards for good games. And it doesn't end there. Supergiant Games is one of the best historical examples. Its founders came from EA Los Angeles. They left to form a tiny independent studio that eventually led to the games Bastion, Transistor, and Hades. That's going crazy right now. Hades said it sold more than 1 million copies and became the studio's biggest success. And again, these are all little studios that were started by big AAA guys that had enough and wanted to do something better. Another example, Moon Studios, small team. The studio is founded by Thomas Mahler, former Blizzard cinematic artist, and went on to make Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will-O-Wisp, which we've heard about. The Ori games
great
have done
games.
well. Yeah. The Ori site has an entire awards page because the game racked up so much major recognition. And Stoic Studio came out of former BioWare developers and turned that into the Banner Saga, one of the better-known Kickstarter to critical success stories.
The Bannerlord, or what did you say?
Yeah, Banner Saga, the Banner Saga.
Yeah, Bannerlords. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Definitely heard of that, and I've heard it was good. And I didn't realize it was a former BioWare, nor did I know the name of the studio. That's why I did the research. I was going like, there's got to be a lot out there. Respawn Entertainment is the big left AA to build a new powerhouse example. Vin Zampella and Jason West left Infinity Ward Activision, formed Respawn, and from that came Titanfall, Apex Legends, and the Star Wars Jedi games. Yeah. Respawn didn't stay small for long, but it absolutely fits the model of top talent, leaving a giant employer and immediately proving they could do it again on their own terms. The list goes on. Embark Studios is a newer version of the same story. It was founded by former DICE and EA veterans, and the first big breakout game was The Finals. Embark's own site identifies the founders as industry veterans, and public Steam data shows The Finals hit a very large peak audience after launch, which is no small feat for a new studio trying to break into a crowded shooter market. Yellow Brick Games is one to keep an eye on. It was founded by veterans from Ubisoft and BioWare, and its debut game was Eternal Strands, which I've heard of, and I even was thinking about playing it. That one is not on the Expedition 33 level, but it's still exactly the kind of AAA refugees build a leaner studio and make something more personal. So there's an example right there of a whole bunch of studios. So we always say something. I felt that we needed to give them recognition and to let you know how many people have fled from AAAs and have started these particular studios that are good and making some class games. You guys want to chime in? You can if you want.
I don't know if there's much I can say to that. Like, we pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's definitely not surprising. I don't know if you have any opinions on it, Mr. Hans.
It's not, as you said, it's not surprising. I mean, they're free then, so to speak. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yeah,
with their own studio.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think it wasn't on the list, but there's a few other Blizzard founders, I think, that also made their own company. I forgot the name, like Snowblind Studios or something. And
why doesn't it happen more often then?
And
you think it'll happen more often going forwards?
Yeah, they're making a new RTS game in the style of of Warcraft back in the day. So,
well, there's also I just read an article. They said the game that was the GTA 6 ripoff just finally came out.
Is it?
Yeah, and I've read a little bit about this. But
I want that.
I think. Yeah.
I signed up for that one, so I want it.
Did you? Yeah, you should check because I heard something about it. And it finally came around to it, from what I understand.
Check my email then right now.
This might be something that you two guys might be interested in, and me, and I'll tell you why. Resident Evil creators' new studio sold to Stellar Blade. So the owner of Stellar Blade now owns Resident Evil creators' new studio. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I'm going like, you can see Eve running around with all those monsters and stuff.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, I said Resident Evil creator Shinji Mikami has sold his new studio, Unbound, to Stellar Blade owner Shift Up. Unbound is currently working on an original PC and console-based games that Shift Up said are being designed to appeal to the global market. Watch for the announcement video is already out. Actually, you can see it on YouTube and stuff if you want to. Mikami is known for his work on spooky games, and the art in the video surely seems to be in line with that. So I can just imagine what might come out of this deal. But it's interesting to see two smaller studios that have done successful for themselves decide to team up and put out some stuff. So I'm curious. I want to see what happens.
That could turn into a big conglomerate, a big massive company, and we'll go back to sacking people and being greedy, and maybe should have just stuck to being themselves.
I think it's interesting you brought that up, because realistically, some of the companies that are small now, look at CD Projekt Red. They were small and now they're huge, but they haven't lost sight of what they do with their games. So, that's what I'm hoping some of these other ones, as they get larger. With Expedition 33, they've made plenty of money. They could easily go the AAA route and say, like, man, we did our thing. Now we'll put out some crap games, but they're not. So I'm hoping that the new larger AAA companies that grow out of these guys don't forget where they came from. In other words, and if that's the case, then we'll always have some really good games to play on our computers that we can't upgrade for a few years. So
yes,
so
not really surprised.
I just thought that was kind of interesting, but I do think that the next Resident Evil then should have Eve pop up in it, because it would only be right.
No, it shouldn't. No, it shouldn't.
I knew you were going to say something like that.
Come on.
Anyway, next story I was going to talk about was CD Projekt Red says that they know how to change the gaming industry. They have the solution. So I was going like, ooh, what's the solution? So as I read through it, it's nothing that we really haven't.
Wait, can we guess? Can we guess? I'm going to take a wild guess here. They're going to charge $90 a game.
No.
Standard. Right?
No, what they were selling was, they said that they believe that if a AAA game more or less is having some problems, then they should be able to take their IP and put it with someone that can do a good job and let them handle it, because since you've lost your mojo or whatever, there are people out there with a lot of mojo and they would like to make your games. They were saying here that saving them could be, doing this process, because if they're dying, they need to sell it off. And if you think about it, that's exactly what Ubisoft did. Ubisoft is tanking more and more every day, but their main IPs are not sitting with them anymore. They're sitting over at Tencent. Now, whether Tencent will be able to put out better games is something we have to see, eventually. They did, CD Projekt Red did hand over their project as far as the Witcher 1 remake, which I'm hearing is pretty good, but they had to put that brakes on that because they need help on Witcher 4, which is a bummer, because I was kind of waiting. And also I heard that the new DLC that was coming out for Witcher 3 is also on the back burner now because of Witcher 4. So I'm just like, come on. You got us all excited about seeing something new for Witcher 3, and now you're telling me you're hanging out waiting.
Is there anything more on that one? I haven't heard anything from it.
I just told you, basically everything was gung ho, and they were gonna release a date for a Witcher 1 remake, and now they said, we got to pull all our people off to solve a problem with Witcher 4. So I don't know. I'm sure they're going to try to get back to it as soon as they can, because they want those games to be the fill-ins before Witcher 4 comes out. Because I'm hearing Witcher 4 may take up to 5 years to get done, is what I'm hearing. And I'm like,
that money,
5
no
years.
wonder.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there going like, that long? Come on, but whatever. Anyway, they were saying that CD Projekt Red committed to a 6-year release schedule of the next Witcher trilogy. There you go. So actually, to be fair, that means 3 Witcher games within 6 years. So that would be 2 years per game, which, if they could stick to that, would be cool, because it'd be neat to get it on time every 2 years, getting another Witcher game and fulfilling the new trilogy. So yeah, I'd like to see it. But like I said, they're not really saying anything new that we haven't talked about. I mean, I'm really going to be curious to see what Tencent does with Ubisoft's Prime IP, because if they can't if they can't put out a game, then that theory might get blown out of the water. Right there. Oh, was it Kluzak and Clackerbag? I like that. You guys, we're changing names all the time. It's great. Anyway, I thought this was a little interesting. I had sent it to Hans, and basically the studio, Kingdom Come Deliverance Studio, could be making a Lord of the Rings RPG next. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're not familiar with Kingdom Come Deliverance and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the games are phenomenal, and they've sold many copies. People are extremely happy with the game, everything about it, the writing, the directing, the acting, the graphics, the works. And so when I heard this, I'm sitting there going like, wow. And then I didn't even realize this, but apparently Embracer Group, who owns the studio that does Kingdom Come, paid $395 million for the rights of Lord of the Rings in games back in 2023.
Wow.
And I guess never did anything with it until now. So that would be great. Anyway, Warhorse Studios are the ones that did Kingdom Come, and they're going to do they say it's going to be a massive Lord of the Rings project. So I hope they do it right.
Yeah,
I think that'd be exciting to play.
If there's any IP out there that deserves a single player open world game, it's Lord of the Rings. I mean, said it.
You guys have played them before, haven't you? The Lord of the Ring games beforehand, yeah. But were they any good?
I have about 3,000 hours in Lord of the Rings Online. So
Jesus,
that's more than my 2,400 and something on Elite.
Was that your most played game, Gray? I thought it'd be Division 2 or something, actually.
No, Division 2, I'm around 900 hours. So that's pretty good there, too. And now they're doing new stuff with it, so I'll be getting back into it like I already have.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be some time before we see this. But I'm imagining how good that it could be, like as it is with Kingdom Come Deliverance. If we get it of that kind of quality, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun.
I'm taking a week off work then. If it comes out.
Oh wow, maybe the whole month.
Yeah, maybe.
Impressive.
So.
All right,
so it's one of the few franchises that hasn't been butchered yet. So there you go.
Yes. That's the end of my game news. Now on to Trev's. I like the first line there, Trev. That's interesting.
That wasn't me. Titled Gray comes out as a flat earther to shield himself from the files.
I got to say something funny about that since you mentioned flat earther. There was a video that just came out of two guys that are flat earthers, and they're watching Artemis,
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And they're still trying to explain how the Earth is flat. And I'm going, like, what is wrong with you?
The flat Earth community is coping so hard at the moment, man. It's insane.
I think they're just winding everyone up. They're fishing. They know it's not flat.
These people, there's a few hardcore flat earthers out there that just can't accept the truth. Right? They can't.
I think that's all BS. They're just doing that because
they're so deep into it now. There's no way they can go back. So
it's like the Matrix, man. Plugged in all your life, you can't be unplugged now.
What would really be funny is once the flights become a little more, I'm going to say commercial, you put one of them on and fly him to the moon. What would he do then?
They won't do it. Have you seen the final experiment for a few months back?
No.
They did the final experiment. So somebody invited flat earthers to come to the Arctic and watch a 24-hour sun, which, by the way, is impossible on a flat Earth, right? So every flat earther denied to come, except for one. He came and he converted to, normalcy.
so
the others are worried that they're going to become normal. They don't want to be normal.
You don't. A special gang. Anyhow, gaming news. Let's not forget about that. This is going to. We're in the theme of a bit of comedy at the moment. I've got some more for you. Mind's Eye developer. How to build a rocket boy or build a rocket boy. The guys that are based in Edinburgh and Hungary, I want to say. There are a couple of locations in Europe. They will Mind's Eye players. That's their game that came out and flopped pretty massively and had to get patched quite a lot. And they were accusing folk of sabotaging them. For those that have the game, they'll receive a new mission which will provide evidence of the alleged sabotage aimed at the game's launch. the CEO says of Build a Rocket Boy. That is absolutely batshit crazy. They can't say a hell of a lot for obviously legal reasons, but then they're going to bring out a mission which will actually tell all. And I mean, I don't know if this is bullshit or not. I honestly don't know what to think, because that is absolute utter nonsense. He's doubling down, the CEO, on sabotage. Just admit your game was shit and stop blaming the sabotage, right? It's just, I played it a little bit and it was all right. It was fun. It got patched. It was better. It performed better on the Pro. But I mean, come on, guys. Like this new mission, I'm trying to think when it'll come out. It's called Blacklist, and it'll introduce a female playable character. And the CEO goes on to say, we're also using that to share some of the evidence of the sabotage with the community. No further explanation was given. And there's US and UK authorities involved in that. I don't see any date of when it's going to come out, but that should be bloody hilarious when it does come out, because it flopped massively, which is a damn shame, because I was actually looking forward to that game. A Metacritic score of 39. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Woo! That's rough. Right, moving on from that, I've got some one of Hans's favourite games, The Last of Us. Joking. 2 articles in this one, actually, which pisses me off about Sony. One of the developers, I think it was what do they call it? The studio lead that was our former director, certainly, of The Last of Us Online. He came out recently and said when the game was cancelled, it was almost 80% complete. They canned a game. I know they've done worse, but they've canned one of their most favourite franchise games when it's 80% done. Now, for those that are The Last of Us diehard players, The Last of Us 1, or was it 2? Well, no, 1 came out. There was an online mode called Factions, which was absolutely fantastic. You had like the sneak. I can't remember what were the names, but you had basically 2 types of teams or folk you could go. You could go like the scavengers, like Ellie and whatnot, where you don't have much, but you have sneaking stealth skills and whatnot. Or you could go the like kind of the more armed forces guys that have got more of the guns and the strength, but they're noisier and whatnot. And these 2 teams would come against each other, and it was really good fun. So people were a bit upset when it didn't come out for The Last of Us Part 2. We know why, because we're working on The Last of Us Online, which a full-blown game like that would have been absolutely fantastic to play. But Sony have obviously pulled the plug because they were working on it for years, and the amount of money, like Naughty Dog are not a live service game studio. They are a very good single-player, story, narrative-driven company. That's where they make the big bucks from. So they would have been stretched probably a little bit too thin. Sony were obviously seeing what was happening in the live service game. And then obviously Bungie, when they just bought Bungie come over with them and we went round all their live service games and went, yeah, cancel that shit. This is the same Bungie that said that they brought out Marathon with plagiarism, that is losing so many Destiny 2 players, and they come round and say The Last of Us Online is shit and you should cancel it, Sony. Like, who owns who? Absolutely nuts. It's a shame. It's a shame because we'll probably never get to see that. Former director. It wasn't the studio lead. It's a former director.
Yeah, I also read that article. Didn't they say that they were notified 24 hours in advance until it went public?
Yeah, before the public.
Insane.
Scummy. It's scummy. It is scummy. At least they got warned in advance, but it's scummy.
And also, let's be honest, 80% done means millions upon millions upon millions have been lost now. So
yeah. It's I don't. You should have just brought it out, man. You're that close to the finish. Just bring it out, and it's such a popular franchise that would have sold. Hire more people to run your live service division, then, if that's the case. Just such a waste. But anyway, that is gone, and we never know if we'll get Last of Us Part 3. I reckon we will, but they're obviously Naughty Dog are
You
doing
really
their,
think so? I don't think we're gonna get that.
we will, but they're
No.
working on that. What's that bloody Intergalactic Prophet or whatever the
Oh,
hell
the
it is at the
Heretic
moment?
Prophet. Oh my
The
god.
Heretic Prophet, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
looks
their big one.
Sorry, that looks horrible. I mean,
well, I don't know enough about it at the moment. I just, you're hoping for a good story, and Neil Druckmann is mostly like the studio lead head. They're involved heavily on that at the moment.
That's
so
the problem.
Yeah.
They gave him the creative lead in The Last of Us 2, right? And see what happened there. They gave him the creative lead in The Last of Us Season 2. See what happened there. Right? It's insane.
I think
the guy can't write. I'm sorry.
I think Druckmann's on a downswing right now, and that could be dangerous for some of these games.
But to be fair, he's doing everything that Hollywood wants him to do. So he's trying to get into Hollywood. Right.
Right.
He wants to be a writer.
Do that.
So
he's given up his, I mean, he's given in.
He's not trying to get. I don't think he is trying to get to Hollywood because he actually left. He left the Last of Us TV show early, and he's no longer involved in it now to focus on his new game. He actually left. So I don't know, or maybe he didn't like the direction it was going in, or he was
left because
jumping.
He knew it was tanking.
He wrote it
like jump from a sinking ship, So anyway, so I would like The Last of Us Part 3 and the Half-Life Part 3. I'm a happy man.
But to be fair, for the fans, I do think they deserve closure, right? I mean, it's for every
closure.
franchise.
The trilogy, yeah.
So if you're a fan of The Last of Us, you deserve your closure.
You wouldn't see a third game unless there was a good enough story for it. You guys are like story kings. Come on, like you don't have a third story in mind? Yes, you bloody do. Anyway, so moving on from that, the last just a little small add-on because we were talking about The Last of Us, and that is The Last of Us Part 3 is getting gently teased. The article reads, The Last of Us creator teases few stops that remain on the road ahead, rousing fans' hopes for Part 3. And it was a post he made online. He did say before if there was a story good enough for it, they would come out with it. We're needing closure. Like what's going on with Abby. I know it takes years to make the games, so I don't think it'll be connected to the TV show in any shape or form. But people are just taking a massive... I think at the end of the day, it's ultimately up to Sony, isn't it? Sony
but also, how many years would the game be away then? I mean...
Exactly, mate.
We're talking about a lot of years here, so...
The biggest studio that Sony have probably is Naughty Dog, or their best studio probably is Naughty Dog, like Santa Monica and whatnot.
Don't they make the most of their first
money?
Yeah.
They do. They certainly do. And Sony have given Naughty Dog almost a free rein because of how much money they brought in. So if Naughty Dog say we don't have an idea or we don't want to proceed with Part 3, it very well might not happen if that's the case. But if there's the demand for it and there's a good enough story, just bloody make it for the people, man. It'll be a PS6 game anyway, no doubt. So
if you're lucky.
Yes, if you're lucky, yes, I'm being kind here, probably PS7. But yeah, that's me for my gaming news, Mr. Gray. On to yourself with some tech news, hardware news.
Sounds good. I saw this because I thought it was funny, and it falls into tech, even though it's kind of goofy. So basically, this guy came up with an experiment for audiophiles, and basically the experiment is to determine whether listeners could differentiate between audio run through pro audio copper wire, a banana, and wet mud.
What? I know they go tangents, man, but
I had to check this out when I read that. I was like, great. He invited other members on the forum to listen to various sound clips with 4 different versions. One taken from the original CD file, with the 3 others recorded through 180 centimeters of pro audio copper wire via 20 centimeters of wet mud through 120 centimeters of old microphone cable soldered to 2 U.S. pennies and via a 13 centimeter banana and 120 centimeters of the same audio setup as earlier. There's no pictures of this. Well, there is a picture of this contraption. I'm telling you, funniest looking thing I've ever seen. You see this banana and this aluminum foil and all this stuff, and I'm like, okay. But now here's the results. Now it said initial test results showed that it's extremely difficult for listeners to correctly pick out which audio track used which wiring setup. The amazing thing is how much alike these files sound. The mud should sound perfectly awful, but it doesn't. All the re-recordings should be obvious, but they're not. And I'm like, okay. So
then they're talking about basic music files, then I guess, because I can and Trev probably also, I can hear the difference between Dolby and Dolby Atmos, so to speak, right?
Oh, I'm really bad at that.
When you see these pictures, they got wires stuffed into mud and bananas, and they said that they're listening to it through these things, and they can't tell what track is what. They said it all sounds the same to them. And I'm like, oh my god.
When it would come to normal music, I would probably not be able to differentiate it also. So,
Great. If you're running out of articles to talk about, you just give me a shout, because this is nearly 2 months old. It's you're running out of source material here, my friend.
I don't care if it's 2 months old. It's hilarious. Nobody else was reading about this. I thought it was great.
Man,
anyway, here's an article on Sony, and this doesn't surprise me at all. Sony's acquired AI company Cinemursive Labs. No brainer, more AI, right? So Sony has agreed to acquire AI company Cinemursive Labs, adding a specialist machine learning team, a whole team, to its PlayStation technology operations. Here it comes, boys. The deal is expected to strengthen Sony's rendering and streaming capabilities and could eventually even improve the visual fidelity of its games.
PSSR 3.
So that's DLSS 5. Come on.
DLSS it's going to be AISSR.
Yeah, but it's DLSS 5. So it is coming to every piece of technology, right?
Well,
just
they might have their own version of it. Submersive Labs, by the way, is a UK-based computer vision and machine learning company, so it's near you somewhere, Trev, I guess. Its technology is designed to listen to this. Designed to capture, convert, process, store, and stream so-called 6 degrees of freedom 3D images and video.
There you go.
Meaning content that users can view from multiple angles while moving around it. So essentially, they're going to become more PC-like, and AI is going to assist them in doing this. Is what it's going down.
And NVIDIA just sets the trend, and the rest is following, as it has been for like a decade now, I guess.
I mean, they're just quietly. This article went under the radar pretty much, but we see the handwriting. Sony Interactive Entertainment plans to add the British company to its visual computing group. They have a visual computing group, guys. An internal research and development unit focused on machine learning neural networks for PlayStation's rendering and streaming technology. Boom.
This hobby is doomed, man. It's doomed.
Well, that was kind of tied in a little bit, boys, what I was saying before about PS6. Wasn't it like that's probably something that will happen, because the only way to go forward is AI. We're running out of raster performance, so I can't say I'm surprised at all with this.
No, I think raster performance is dead. I mean, we don't need to look at that anymore. I mean,
yeah, we don't.
Marginal
you
gains.
like it or not like it, that's another discussion, but it is just, I think, the reality at the moment. So, raster performance, that's over. So,
and like we said last time, I as long as you can turn DLSS 5 off and on when needed is fine. That's all I care about. Because Starfield is the best example. I mean, it's ugly, but when you put in the DLSS, from what I saw, I'm like, oh, damn, that's like a major improvement.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see what it could do if you pumped it through games that are not remade yet, like whatever the game might be,
an older game,
like maybe a God of War game, the older ones. If no one's going to do the remake, you might be able to pass it through this in future versions and then get something a little more desirable on the other end. I would be for that.
That reminds me, isn't dynamic?
It's out, but it's in
beta.
out.
It was out last week, wasn't it?
You need to download the beta drivers. I tested it out already, but gotta be honest, I didn't really see much of a difference with normal
Why
ones.
is it coming out? Why is it out in beta? Like it's not.
I don't
thought
know.
it was just
Ask
going to be a full
NVIDIA.
launch.
So yeah, ask NVIDIA. So
Oh,
at least
so you can't comment on it yet, Hans. No, not enough.
I
testing
tried
or-
it and I can't really see any difference, so to speak. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I'm just saying it just works, right?
I like
So-
the fact that it would scan my monitor and see it's 240 hertz and try and get as close to that as possible.
Yeah,
but
I
still
gotta be
looking
honest,
good.
I haven't been near 240 hertz unless I turn on like 3 times frame generate or 4 times even with Crimson Desert. And
Man.
yeah, no, not
That's
really. But I don't think it's made for those kind of games. Also, to be fair,
Right.
I think it's more made for like your Resident Evil, right? Visual fidelity that needs to go up a lot by then. So yeah, I'm not sure. I can't say. So
But when I saw the DLSS 5 go use Resident Evil as an example from a picture,
that
yes,
was
I
bad.
agree. Well, hold on a second, because I saw one of the male character, and even though I don't think it needed it, when I looked at the difference, though, you can see, like, you get the wrinkles where they're supposed to be when you smile or you're mad or whatever. Those started appearing. The lighting on the hair and part of the forehead looked better. So there was some things that were better about it. Now, whether you really need it, though, because the game already looks pretty good, is another story. But when you get a game like Starfield or other games similar to that, where those characters are ugly and old, period. Because then it's a whole nother world. That at least then you can play the game and not have to throw up at these characters looking the same all the time. So it really depends. It really depends. Why do you need DLSS 5 if something's already looking good? Just because you feel like it?
Yeah, I do think DLSS 5 is gonna come with more than just the filter, so to speak. I mean, they have to. I mean, otherwise it
It's
can
nice
be
to have
called
the
DLSS.
option.
Sorry.
Don't have to
I
use
think
it.
with obviously everybody's split down the middle on this, but I think the reason why some of the people that don't like it are complaining because they're taking it purely on the fact that they believe that DLSS 5 is total AI that's changing things the way that they don't want it to happen. And I can't say that they're wrong. But I get what they're saying. In other words, they said that, like, all right, we don't want AI to start changing the characters like we are prompting something that we want to see, like people do. He says we don't want that, and so all right, I get it, and stuff, because that is what it is. I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, there's no doubt. So, but again, I think it's as long as you can turn it off and on, everybody should chill out because you can either like it or not like it.
Exactly.
Anyway,
Safe words.
Yeah.
I had something kind of interesting that I thought we would have fun with. This is a little fun fact. We've all been looking at NASA's Artemis program, and when them going around. Well, I was watching it all day yesterday. I was wanting to see more. Well, we can talk about that in a minute. But
the memes are awesome of that mission, so that's what I care about.
The what was?
I care about the memes that come out of this mission. So
please.
No, don't say the one you sent to us, man. You'll get it shut down.
That was a tame one. There's way harsher ones.
Oh, Jesus.
Anyway, I decided just for the hell of it, I kept on looking at Artemis Control Center, Mission Control, and I'm seeing these monitors everywhere. And I'm going like, the hell monitors do they use? Now, one thing I do know is that because you're under government contracts over here, federal contracts, you have to buy from one company, right? Yeah. So everybody has to buy Dell monitors, period, whether you like Dell or not. It has to be a Dell monitor. So I'm looking at these things, trying to figure it out. And I was even using ChatGPT to help me because I was taking pictures. I was stealing images because they don't come out and tell you. When you do the research, they don't come out and tell you the monitor exactly and what it does because they don't care about that stuff. But I do. No. I think it's kind of cool. So as I did the research, I ended up finding out that they're using Dell Ultra Sharp 49-inch curved monitors. Ultra-wide monitors offer high resolution for managing the complex data, telemetry, and imaging. So, by the way, these particular monitors get a rating of 4 out of 5 on a lot of rating services out there. 49-inch curved screen, 32:9 aspect ratio, a dual QHD, 5120 by 1440 at 60 hertz, IPS black panel, 109 ppi pixel density. Its brightness ratio 2001 to contrast ratio is 2001. 1.07 billion colors. Response time 5 milliseconds. I got ones better than that. Anti-glare, so forth. That has 2 HDMI's, 1 display port, and it has about 6 different USB slots on it. Has downstream. It takes a internet cable as well, audio line out, and that's what they use all over the freaking control rooms.
So I have an alpha monitor.
HDMI 2
All right.
2.0 or HDMI 2.1?
Doesn't say. It just says,
So
2.2, 2.2, 2.2.
2.2. Jesus Christ, these are ready for gaming, man. Yeah, can you imagine that? Can you imagine the pilot, like, is it Glover, like up there with his Xbox controller goes, are you supposed to look at the moon? Nah, man, I need to maximize this FPS here.
It was really hard for me, and GPT was only an assist with me to be able to find this information out. You would think you could just get it, but they don't care about that. They just do their thing and they don't reveal.
By the way,
they don't care.
Trev, speaking of controllers, I have the coolest PC controller ever. You know this one?
Oh,
it's PC, so
I think you showed me that before. That's cool. I like that. I've got a little retro controller for Windows as well. I love it. I love it. Anyway,
that's the end of my thing. But we do know they're using good monitors. What I can't find out yet is what kind of computers and GPUs are they using. I got a feeling they're all Dell computers, which means they're not using deep GPUs at all, probably. But I don't know. I mean, they should be. I would. I mean, if they're looking at stuff like that. But
interesting. Yeah. All right. Okay. I believe we have an interesting themed quiz that I'm going to fail at miserably, and you guys will do really well at. I can see that.
What is it?
I don't know. Hans already told me he's not going to do well.
What is it?
Oh, really? So it's.
No, we're going to do this quiz anyway because there's a lot of fans out there.
Mass Effect quiz.
Ooh, that's rough.
Oh no, I'm screwed.
This is a quiz. It's a Mass Effect theme, like you said, and I know there's a lot of Mass Effect players out there, or players like me that played them years ago. So I'm sure some of them will be listening and wondering what the answers are to some of these, which we won't give any of them. No, we will give the answers. So let's start it off. The first one is pretty simple. What is the name of Commander Shepard's ship in Mass Effect? A, the Normandy. B, Tempest. C, Hyperion.
I think it was the Normandy. I'm not sure. Sorry.
Okay. What do you say, Joe? I can hear fans screaming right now. Don't you know the answer?
I'm going to guess Hyperion. I'm guessing, man.
So Hans wins.
The name just rings a bell. That's all. So, yeah.
Of course it does.
And you see the Normandy ship pop up in some of these other games where they have special, a Normandy ship flying in their space game or something.
What's the Hyperion from then? I've heard of that ship.
That's a name I also know from somewhere. But
yeah, I've heard of it too. Don't remember exactly, but yeah. Number 2, what is the name of the human organization led by the elusive man in Mass Effect 2? A, Cerberus. B, Eclipse. C, Spectres. Or Spectres.
And if you want to try and figure out the answer for yourself, I meant to say you could just pause it for a moment and come back to it.
I'm gonna go for the same gut feeling of Cerberus just because it rings a bell. That's all.
Okay.
Human organization.
Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Cerberus as well. I guess.
Ding 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 ding! You're both right. Very
Again.
good.
Christ.
Yeah. And I'm trying to remember the elusive man was the guy. Oh, Martin Sheen. Martin Sheen did the voice of the elusive man, which is interesting. That's the only time I've ever seen him do a game. I don't think he's ever done one after. That was a long time ago. So interesting. What is the name of the rogue Spectre who serves as the main antagonist in the first Mass Effect game?
This I actually do know.
Do you? Okay. A is Saren Arterius.
Let me have the first guess. Because if Hans knows it, I may as well just try and get in there first.
All right. Okay. A is Saren Arterius. B is Nihilus Kryrik, whatever. And the C was Garrus Vakarian.
I'm going to guess C, Garrus.
It's Saren.
Okay. And
It's
you
who?
said what? Saren?
Saren, A.
And the
Oh.
answer is ding, 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 Saren.
I knew that one. That actually I knew. So,
How
You get 2 out of 3,
Hans,
huh?
I
Pretty
thought
good.
you were going to. I thought you were going to struggle, Hans. What? Like what?
I played
What?
those games a little bit. Only the third one I finished. The second
You
one I
got
had
3
to
out of
quit.
3, man.
Yeah,
Trying
I
to
never
set my
played the first one.
expectations
So,
up. God
I played
damn
them
it.
all.
Yeah.
They're all
I haven't
good.
played any of them.
Number 2 is probably the best of the 3. but
Everybody
that's-
says that. Yeah. So,
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that 1 wasn't good and 3 wasn't good. They were.
but I played the
you know.
third one, and I got the ending. They changed the ending after a few months because there was so much backlash about the ending of the third one.
Well,
So
that's
I
why
got,
they redid it. They redid
yeah, I
it.
got the old ending, so I never knew the true ending, so to speak. So
The true ending, well, I don't know, it depends on what you mean by which one's true, but Shepard dies. And they all were like, no. So now they changed it to where Shepard disappears. He doesn't die.
yeah, there was something.
Something like that.
So long. So yeah.
He became one with the universe. I don't know. Anyway,
Well-
that's it for my quiz for this week.
Thank you. If anyone can beat Gray's massive side tangent about bananas and dirt for phone calls, then please write in to
Next
Who
week I
Gives
will
a
actually have
Damn.
a topic, by the way. Just saying. So
What,
If I
give
had
the
the
people
money,
a
I would
hint?
reproduce that
I
experiment.
got something. I
would
got something
have-
cool planned. Not from me, but I got a 58 laptop on loan in next week. So I'm gonna test it out.
A 5800 laptop?
No,
Is that
no,
what you said?
5080. 5080.
Oh, okay,
Nice.
okay.
So
It's all be a
Are we-
5070 then, basically.
yeah, I want to compare it
5070
to.
Ti.
No, I think it's equal to like a 4070 or something. That's got.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
Usually
I'm
it's
not
a
sure. That's what I
generation.
want to test
It's
out.
a card down.
I want to
Okay,
test it out. So
okay.
that's
How
Interesting.
long do you need
Well,
to keep it?
about a week.
Loan.
Okay. All right.
It's enough to test. It's enough to test and do his
Yeah,
best.
it's on loan for something else, but I'm gonna use it. To
Jason
You
test
got to
That's
run
what
Crisis and Cyberpunk on it and see what happens.
Cyberpunk, yeah,
And-
Crisis, no.
How many frames you get in Doom by running it on like a trackpad or
potato.
something? I don't know.
Yeah. So,
Anyway, that is us, peoples. That is us. Finished a little bit earlier today, but we go for the hour and a half to 2 hour mark anyway, so we are there. We will be in that bit. Doing a grey. I'm doing a grey. It's
Yes,
late.
we're doing a
I
grey.
need some sleep. I'm not doing great. I'm definitely doing a grey. Joe Biden. We will see you next week for episode 327. All the best. And until then, people, say goodbye, my esteemed colleagues, to our lovely viewing audience.
bye.
Cheers.
Release the files. Bye.
Bye. Oh my God.
Release the